I'm pulling back the curtain on what rehab is really like to tell you 8 things you absolutely must know before stepping foot in a facility. Hey, I'm Luke Worsfold and I've worked in multiple rehabs across the UK as an addiction counsellor, running group sessions and providing counselling and support. So I've seen firsthand exactly what goes on behind closed doors, and in this video I'm going to share it with you. Because my goal is to help you be better informed about the true cost of rehab and what other options you or your loved ones have. And stay till number 8 because that one is the most important of them all. Now, let's start with number 1, the silver bullet myth. I've seen people come to rehab expecting a complete life transformation in a month. Why? Because that's how rehab is sold. They say, come to our facility and we'll take care of everything. Just show up for 28 days and you'll leave sober, job done. But that's just not how recovery works. It takes time to learn to regulate your emotions and overcome the triggers you experience in day-to-day life. So many clients leave feeling blindsided because no one told them what to expect, and in reality, rehab is just the start of the journey and not the destination. Number 2, time cost. Most rehab programs require a significant time commitment, often 30 to 90 full days of 24/7 being away from work, family life and other responsibilities. For many, taking extended time off from work and family can be a big challenge and barrier. Some people may even find that they cannot even afford to lose the income while getting help. And also they usually don't want to tell work about the problem because they fear the impact it will have on them losing their job. Which brings me to number 3, the stigma of rehab. Despite the world becoming more accepting of mental health in recent years, there's still significant stigma in society towards addiction and recovery. So recovery is already challenging enough as it is without having to deal with the fear of societal rejection and judgment, which often steers people away. Let's move on to number 4, the financial cost. The financial cost of rehab is roughly £5,000 a week in the UK. That means for a standard 28-day stay, you're looking at 20k plus. That's a massive barrier for a lot of people who simply just can't afford to pay the money. This leads to clients borrowing money from family and friends, which can have an impact on already strained relationships. I even saw one client spread it across 5 credit cards, only to come out and relapse along with a burden of 20k plus of credit card debt. Another byproduct of the sky high price is that people spend less time in rehab and only go in for a 1-week detox or just 2 weeks because that's all they can afford. However, that lowers the chance of success as there's not enough time for any psychological change, so this approach becomes counterproductive. And this is actually backed up by empirical data suggesting that you should spend 90 days plus in rehab. A study from the Archives of General Psychiatry found that 35% of cocaine users who received 90 days or less of treatment reported using drugs in the following year, in comparison to only 17% who received 90 or more days of treatment. And for the lucky few where money is not an issue, they may be pushed into rehab to appease family rather than wanting to get well for themselves. And when someone's not ready, this can not only spoil the group dynamic and get in the way of those who really want recovery, but also these clients often leave treatment early. This is exactly what happened with my mum, because my granddad was a millionaire and he paid multiple times just to shove mum in rehab, but unfortunately she wasn't ready and each time it didn't work and she just got worse and worse and worse until the point, unfortunately, she passed away. Number 5, and my favourite one, mixed groups at different stages of recovery. So this is one of the most common challenges that you might not expect, which is that most rehab is delivered in mixed groups. This can be hard for clients who see better results with one-to-one support, and it also poses a challenge of having different clients who have different struggles at different stages of their recovery, all in the same room and in the same group, trying to get support at the same time. And that just becomes a bit of a mess, to be honest. So you may have someone who struggles with heroin, who just entered rehab and is detoxing and struggling to focus, next to someone who is 2 months clean and sober from drinking, who's doing really well. They'll both be in the same group, but that makes it really hard for people to work through the same challenges that they need to, and people can end up feeling left out or tuning out or feel behind or like the group's not relevant to them, and the whole process becomes a bit counterproductive sometimes. Number 6, the misfit of the 12-step model for some people. All of the rehabs I've worked in deliver the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous as their recovery program. So a client's homework in between groups is to go through the first 3 of the 12 steps. Firstly, lots of clients get turned off by the spiritual and religious nature of the 12 steps. And secondly, I think it's a bit of a kick in the teeth to be paying 20k and get told to do something that you can do for free on the outside. Also, in my opinion and personal experience, this doesn't deal with the underlying issue and trauma that people are trying to treat with their addictions. Number 7, the loss of autonomy and privacy. Rehab facilities are often highly structured with strict schedules and rules. This structure can be helpful but may feel a bit restrictive or uncomfortable for some individuals. It can leave you feeling a bit like a kid being told what to do. Also, some rehabs involves group living where clients share rooms or spend most of the day with others in similar circumstances. So that lack of privacy can be uncomfortable, especially for people who are more reserved or value their own alone time. And finally, number 8, and probably the most important of them all, the whiplash effect. The whiplash effect can be felt once you leave rehab. You see, because when you're in rehab, you're free from your normal triggers and temptations as you're in a safe and different environment, the rehab bubble, as we call it. But the outer world is still filled with all your old habits, people, places, triggers and temptations. Not to mention all the problems you left behind when you went to rehab, such as your relationship, work, partner, kids, debt and stress. All of that comes crashing down like 10 tons of bricks on top of you after you leave rehab. Many clients leave feeling a bit lost or even shocked by the abrupt transition back to their old life. And in my experience, rehabs don't do much to manage this integration back to normal life. Normally they give you weekly aftercare groups and tell you to go to 12-step meetings. And exactly this situation and the whiplash effect causes clients to slip back into their old ways and relapse, ending up back where they started, just £20,000 down. If you watch this far, you might be asking, when is rehab non-negotiable? And the answer is when you're a dependent drinker, which is a person who drinks in the morning to stop the shakes and seizures, and they're having a litre of vodka a day, for example. Then it's crucial to have a medical detox in rehab or hospital where the 24-hour care can be really worth it. But over the past 5 years as an addiction counsellor and working in private practice, 99% of clients I work with are not at this level. They're problem drinkers or binge drinkers, they're functioning alcoholics. So if you feel like you're not that bad and you're not bad enough to go to rehab, then you're probably right. So here's what you should do instead. In my professional opinion, and what personally worked for me, was having addiction counselling to integrate the change into my life. So if you want to find out more about addiction counselling, click the video on screen now to check out our video we made telling you more details about it. Or click the link below and book a free assessment with one of our addiction counsellors today.